Hello, my name is Jacqueline. I am a corporate flight attendant and welcome to my YouTube channel, Jacqueline Travels. Today's video is all about tipping a corporate flight attendant. Now, as a corporate flight attendant, there are a few repetitive questions that I am often asked. The top questions are, how do you become a corporate flight attendant? How much does a corporate flight attendant make? And do you tip a corporate flight attendant, or as a corporate flight attendant, do you get tipped? I've said it once, I'll say it a million times. I cannot think of any other profession where people think it's acceptable to ask you how much you make in your profession. I couldn't tell you how much any of my girlfriends make who work office jobs. I have two sisters who work office jobs. I don't know their salary. And I've asked my sisters and I've asked my friends, has anyone ever asked you how much money you make in the profession that you're in? And everyone has said no. I guess it's just a flight attendant thing. But since Jacqueline Travels is a corporate flight attendant YouTube channel, I'm here to answer your questions. I'm here to share the secrets, and I'm here to talk about things that you're not supposed to talk about. So instead of getting into religion or politics today, we're talking about money. If someone asks me, do you get tipped as a corporate flight attendant? There's no definitive yes or no answer that I can give. Everything in aviation is circumstantial. So first, let's break down the different types of corporate flight attendants. As a corporate flight attendant, you're either gonna be flying Part 91 or Part 135. I made an entire video for this. I will link it here or this side. I always forget which side it goes on, but it's gonna be up top for you at this point in the video if you're curious to learn more about that. So if you are a corporate flight attendant and you work Part 135, that basically means you are on charter flights. So there's a company that owns a private jet. They lease the private jet to clients who are looking to travel either for personal or for business. And sometimes you are short calls, there's pop-up trips, or sometimes you have a pretty set schedule. But basically you are flying people who are renting a jet. If you are a Part 91 flight attendant, you work either for the owner of the jet or for a company who provides a business jet for their corporate executives to fly on. A little bit about myself, I do work Part 91. I work for a company, so I fly executives to the meetings that they need to go to, but there's also a benefit to being one of these higher up employees, and they do get to use the business jets for personal use occasionally as well. So for me, I'm technically a coworker of the people that I'm flying. We work for the same company, and then if I ever do any sort of contract flying, I fly Part 135 and I fly different people. So corporate flight attendants who are strictly Part 135 or strictly contract or strictly Part 91, we are generally compensated very well for the job that we do. Being a flight attendant is demanding. We miss a lot of time at home, we miss personal events, we miss special occasions, we work holidays, and even if we're not on the private jet flying, we still have to work on days off on the ground. And so since we have a lot of time away from home, and like I said, we miss a lot of special events, we are compensated pretty well for the job that we do. So the first thing I want to say about tipping a corporate flight attendant is tips are never ever expected. They are always appreciated if they happen. Okay, now let's get down to specific flight attendants again. Like I said, I am a Part 91 corporate flight attendant. I basically fly my coworkers where they need to go. So I am not tipped, nor am I expecting any of them to provide me with a tip. The company who pays their salary also pays my salary. And since we all work for the same company, it just doesn't really make sense for these executives to hand over tips at the end of each flight. Especially if you've watched my videos, you know I can be pretty busy sometimes. Now, there have been times on my jet where I've done a personal trip for these executives and they've brought little treats. Sometimes our primary will bring lunch for the entire crew. Sometimes if we're going to a fancy city, they'll bring us back a bottle of the local alcohol that the city is known for. So things like that happen on personal trips, and we're always extremely grateful. Any small token of appreciation goes an extremely long way. Like I said, I'm never expecting it, but it is always a nice treat. Now, the guys and gals who fly Part 135 see different clients all the time. These clients are paying a lot of money to charter that private jet, and a portion of the money that they pay to charter the private jet goes to the salary for the corporate flight attendant and for the pilots. So again, there's not a written rule that tipping is necessary if you are chartering a jet, but I will say it's more common to see tips when you're flying Part 135. Now, if you go online, there is no set rule on how much that you should tip your corporate flight attendant. It's not the standard 20% that you would tip in a restaurant. And please, especially during times like this, make sure you're tipping at least 20% when you're in a restaurant. I've seen tips anywhere from $50 for the entire crew to split up to $1,000 for the entire crew to split. So again, of course, it's gonna be circumstantial. You might have a passenger requesting a trip from here to Europe. They want the fanciest champagne, they want caviar, they want a 7-course meal, and they walk off with a private jet and don't tip you. That person already spent a fortune on catering the private jet and chartering the private jet. Plus they paid your day rate as a corporate flight attendant and the pilot's day rate. And there's a good chance you're gonna get a European layover out of it too. So if you're not tipped as a corporate flight attendant, don't be offended about not being tipped as a corporate flight attendant. I've also seen quick 45-minute flights where a passenger will walk off and hand each crew member a $100 bill. So it just depends on the day, it just depends on the person. Again, I feel like I can't stress this enough. We are generally compensated accordingly for the job that we do. Day rates for corporate flight attendants are very generous. It's not a secret, I've made an entire video about this, but as a corporate flight attendant, you're gonna make at least $500 a day, up to $750, $800 every day of your trip. So if someone doesn't hand you a $100 bill after a 45-minute flight, there's honestly nothing to complain about. I've worked contract flights where I was given a bottle of wine from the local region that we were flying to, and that was extremely thoughtful. That totally made my day, the same way that being handed an envelope full of money would have made my day too. It's almost more thoughtful and more considerate receiving a nice little token of appreciation that way, because there was a little bit more time and a little bit more effort put into that gesture. It's just like giving any sort of gift, honestly. It's the thought that counts. And knowing that the passengers that we were flying thought about the crew while they were on the ground enjoying their time, not on the airplane, knowing that they thought about us enough to bring a gift back to the airplane was so thoughtful. So since corporate flight attendants are definitely in the service industry, you would think tipping is probably done on 100% of the flights that a corporate flight attendant works. Like I said earlier, there is no rule book on this. I don't think there's a single corporate flight attendant who ever expects to be tipped. I also know that there are a lot of charter companies who prohibit their employees from accepting a tip from a passenger. That's all the information I have for you today on tipping a corporate flight attendant. This question, like I said, was asked to me many times, but it was recently posted on my Salt Lake City video that I published not that long ago. So I really appreciate you guys reaching out to me with all of your questions, comments, thoughts, or concerns. If you do have any, please leave them down below for me. Please make sure to leave me a thumbs up for this video and make sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any future flight attendant videos. If you guys are looking for me on social media at Jack Travels, that is JAC Travels, that's my Twitter handle, and Jacqueline Travels is my Instagram. It's spelled just the same way it is here on YouTube. So again, thank you guys for all of your participation, for your comments. Thank you very, very much for watching, and I hope to see you for my next video. Thanks.